Good evening. We start with some breaking news coming out of Russia that an asteroid has fallen to Earth around the Siberian city of Yakutsk. Dashcam footage from a passing motorist in the area appears to show the asteroid briefly light up the sky before fizzling out as it neared the Earth. Russian officials have stated that the impact has caused some significant damage to the center of the city, but local officials are still assessing the full extent of the impact. The compelling aspect to this story comes as NASA, the European Space Agency, and the Russian Space Agency, Roscosmos, have all stated that the asteroid was completely untracked in its approach to Earth. How this is possible due to the sheer amount of coverage the various space agencies of Earth have regarding our solar system is unknown. However, lead astronomer at Roscosmos, Dmitry Kopchak, has stated this is almost definitely a quote, one-off event that slipped through the smallest of cracks. As of yet, we've had no confirmation of any injuries or fatalities regarding this incident, but due to the location of the impact being a heavily built-up residential area, it is plausible to expect casualty numbers to be announced at some point in the coming hours, as emergency services spring into action in the area. We'll keep you updated on this developing story as information becomes available. We're going to bring you an update on the asteroid strike in Siberia now, as well as some interesting images we've came into possession of. The Russian government has released a few statements over the last hour, with a spokesperson in the area just moments ago saying, quote, "There appears to be significant loss of life, but a number cannot be stated right now." He also said that, quote, "It's not just deaths, a lot of people are missing around the impact site. There's no sign of them, or a body anywhere. We currently still have no footage of the impact site, but several pictures have seemingly leaked on the internet appearing to show a Russian armored column on the move towards the city of Yakutsk. For what reason is unclear right now, but it seems highly unusual to see armored military vehicles approaching the site of what can be classed as a natural disaster." When asked about these leaked images, contacts within Russia stated these are falsified images, and no such thing is happening. We'll keep you updated on further developments as they reach us. We have breaking news from the war in Ukraine, and it's extremely peculiar. We have reports from the Ukrainian government that the Russian forces in occupied Ukraine have abandoned their territory and returned to Russia. Thousands have took to the streets across Kiev and beyond as the jubilant Ukrainian population celebrates what appears to be an end to hostilities. The reason behind this decision is bewildering Western officials and Ukrainian officials alike, with no word from the Russians as to why they've done this, or if this is an official end to the invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian forces have begun to flood back into places such as Luhansk and Donetsk, with motorized divisions rushing for every corner of formerly occupied land. The most interesting development in this astonishingly unpredicted move is that all military presence in the Crimea has seemingly left also. Where the Russian military has been redirected to is currently unknown, although many speculate this may be to do with the current information blackout in Russia. Some NATO higher-ups have thrown around the idea that NATO troops need to be on high alert, as this may be a form of preparation for a strike against the West. However, others have labeled this as ludicrous, saying a withdrawal from Ukraine in order to attack the West poses no logical sense whatsoever. We await further updates on the situation, but hopefully this is finally an end to the warfare that has gripped Eastern Europe for the past few years. Breaking news: a response from the Russian government has finally been received by Western media and governments, in which an extremely unsettling image was released. Viktor Sharaputov, a spokesperson for the Russian government, just moments ago released this statement on behalf of the Russian government explaining the silence of the past week. It says as follows: on the 31st of October, an asteroid struck our Siberian city of Yakutsk, dealing severe damage to its infrastructure, as well as to the surrounding landscape. Within moments of the impact, survivors began frantically sending out cries for help to emergency services, some complaining of unknown growths rising from the impact crater. When our first responders arrived at the city, it was completely unrecognizable. Almost no buildings were standing, fires raged across the landscape, and a sickly organic ooze seemed to be flowing through what were the remains of the streets of Yakutsk. Our emergency services entered the city, looking for survivors, but found none. They didn't even find bodies, just more ooze and the occasional organic growth bubbling up from the ground. We only know this because we found the helmet cameras several hours later, after sending the military, because we received no updates from the first and then second wave of emergency services sent into Yakutsk. These first responders encountered what appeared to be the survivors of the impact, but they were morphed, disfigured, and covered in the growths I mentioned previously. They charged our emergency services, mauling and butchering them, killing them all. The same happened to our first wave of soldiers, but we pieced more together from their footage, showing the emergency services that attended the city previously were now standing upright, disfigured and covered in the same growths as the town's inhabitants. From this moment, we quarantined the city, but the military continuously became overrun, and the biological threat continued to spread. We deployed Special Forces soldiers into Yakutsk to retrieve bodycam and headcam footage if possible, before being extracted. Out of the 25 men we sent in, 3 returned. At this point, we believe the only chance we have to stop the spread is to carpet bomb it with napalm, which is our next step. Due to its rapidly spreading nature, we believed it necessary to alert other nations, especially our bordering neighbor China, to the potential of the growth crossing into your nations. We will solve this issue, and urge the international community to leave us to solve this problem ourselves. The Russian people will end this threat. Thank you. Western leaders are yet to respond to the statement, but due to the contagious nature of whatever this is, we may see another global shutdown for health reasons in the coming weeks. Keep tuned for further updates. Good afternoon. Today Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer announced in Washington, D.C. that Britain would join the United States in refusing to provide aid to both the Russian and Chinese nations in an attempt to combat the spread of the biological growth expanding across Asia. Speaking to the nation earlier today, the Prime Minister said he was monitoring the situation closely, but with the growth not being a threat to British interests, he had no intention of getting involved in any shape or form. This statement comes in solidarity with American President Donald Trump, who stated, "It looks like a horrible thing, but they didn't want our help during the China virus, and Russia wasn't exactly accommodating to our peace talks for Ukraine. I think we'll sit this one out. Let's see what happens." President Trump was asked if he had worries that it could cross the rapidly freezing ice border between Russia and Alaska, to which he stated, "We have enough military presence in that area to blow apart that ice. It won't reach America." As for Central Europe, the European Union continues to battle with indecision on what to do about the waves of Russian refugees trying to cross into Western Europe in an attempt to flee the growth. This comes after Polish border guards opened fire on a group of Russians trying to enter Poland, causing 3 casualties. The EU President, Ursula von der Leyen, has said a plan will be developed soon, but the Russian people have to realize that just over a week ago their country was deemed an aggressor state by the majority of Western Europe, and it will take time for people to accept them. The Russian government has stated the most recent attempt to quell the growth of the contamination, now being labeled as the flood by some circles, has failed. A series of napalm and missile strikes targeted significantly large growths in Siberia, but it seems to have had no impact on the progress of the flood's spread. Russia has announced evacuation orders for all cities and towns around the Ural Mountains, as the flood is expected to reach there in the coming days. This is the emergency alert system on behalf of His Majesty's government. Please stand by. This is the emergency alert system on behalf of His Majesty's government. Today, shocking footage of a human being infected with the flood was leaked to the public. This shocking, and equally saddening, video has scared millions around the globe and caused civil disorder in many nations, including the United Kingdom. The government would like to convey to you that it shares your fear and your anxiety around this matter. The nature of this infection is not fully clear to us as we haven't had a chance to study it in depth, but its extremely infectious and destructive nature makes it a severe threat to the existence of our species and our way of life. Although a significant distance from our shores, the spread of the flood has increased in speed day on day, and it is realistic to think that at some point in the future, the flood would have the opportunity to spread to British territory. It is in our best interests that we don't allow this to happen. Thus from today, the Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has announced the suspension of all traffic and travel from both sea and air to and from any country within the predicted spread zone of the flood. This means the nations of Russia, China, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Indonesia, the Philippines, New Zealand, Australia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Mongolia, Iran, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, Thailand, Malaysia, Brunei, Singapore, and the assorted Pacific Island countries will no longer have access to the United Kingdom under any circumstance. I know this will seem extreme, but this government must ensure the safety of our people and ensure the flood doesn't reach our shores. Further updates on this subject will be broadcast when information deemed important is released to the public. Thank you.
Darkness comes for you all. The twisted offspring of those more worthy, those that fell. Redemption will not come. The eternal night will drown you all in painful sin. A God is born, born of flesh, born of hatred. Children of my enemy, I come to finish the eternal fight. The sins of a father passed to his son. Forgiveness is a forgotten term. The end will come. The trial has begun.
This is the emergency alert system on behalf of His Majesty's government. Moments ago, every nation on Earth experienced a signal hijack. How this occurred is currently unknown, however, its origin has already been traced back to Yakutsk, Russia. We believe this is something to do with the flood. We urge all citizens to remain calm. This appeared to be some form of psychological warfare, waged against the human species. It will not work. We will stand tall and fight for as long. Please stand by, important information will follow. The United States of America has confirmed that flood forms have engaged their military forces around Anchorage, Alaska. The flood seemed to be in command of an assortment of Russian, Chinese, Korean, and Indian planes and ships. Alert! Flood forms have landed on the beaches of Japan. Alert! Flood forms have been spotted approaching Moscow, Russia. Please stay calm. Any information crucial to the safety of the United Kingdom will be broadcast as soon as possible.
Time has come.
This is the emergency alert system on behalf of His Majesty's government. Today, the government deemed it necessary to implement a defence plan for the British Isles. In coordination with the Republic of Ireland, our respective governments have pushed through the hard, but needed, motion to suspend public life. What this means is our respective countries are now fully mobilised and gearing for a coming assault from the flood. Our contact with the remnants of the Australian, Canadian, and New Zealander governments fell silent today simultaneously. We also lost contact with the Swedish government in Stockholm, the Polish government in Warsaw, and the Turkish government in Ankara, and then in Istanbul. It was confirmed yesterday that flood forces had appeared on the southern tip of Africa near Cape Town, whilst the Egyptian government in Cairo fell silent. An envelopment of the entire African continent seems likely to follow. We remain in contact with the American government and military, and are coordinating with them in regards to information on weaknesses the flood possess, and tactics that seem to hamper their progress. Although with the United States government formally pulling out of all states to the west of the Rocky Mountains, it seems they may also be in a retreating situation. As of yet, South America is holding firm with no flood presence so far, whilst the Central and Western European countries are attempting to form a unified front through Germany to halt the advancing flood hordes. This is where our decision comes into action. We have decided to withdraw all British troops from continental Europe and station them back on the home isle. This is because although we always have hope, the overwhelming force of the flood seems to indicate the fall of the rest of Europe within the next 2 weeks. We have decided to use this time to train each and every single civilian on this island to fight in order to give us the best possible chance of survival. We know the odds are low, and the flood seems unstoppable, but there is always a chance. We will transform our landscape into a labyrinth of explosives and traps designed to hamper any landing attempts on our shores, or an advance into and through our cities. In our final hour, we will stand tall. We will fight this terror in our homeland, and if we are to succumb to the flood, it will happen knowing each and every one of us did everything physically in our power to stop it. Effective immediately, all citizens are required to exit their homes and follow the siren when it wails. This will lead you to your area's designated training zone. May God have mercy on us all, and aid us in this final battle. Thank you.
Your God is dead. He will not save you now. We will see you soon
people of Great Britain, we stand alone against the flood. Its might overwhelming, its power biblical. The future may hold suffering in these lands, our pleasant greenery blighted, our rugged landscape defiled. But one thing that will never disappear from these stones is the memory. The memory of our people, our history. Thousands of years of history riding on our backs, and we face down the end. We will do it with vigor, with strength, with unwavering courage. Look around you, next to you, behind you. Every face you see is England, is Scotland, is Wales, is Ireland. Every face you see is humanity. And if humanity is to dwindle out into that dark night, we will do so on our own terms. So take heart. Know that those empty spaces between you and your comrades, they are not empty. In there stand Churchill, Nelson, Kitchener, Victoria and Elizabeth, Cromwell and Alfred the Great, the heroes of long gone. Their names liveth forevermore in you. Embrace them. Become them. For this is Great Britain, the land of our forefathers. And it will always be Great Britain. May God be with us all in this final battle. May we be in heaven half an hour before the devil knows we're dead.
I can see them coming ashore. I guess they've finally found me. I ain't going out to their screens. Mum, this was your favorite hymn. I'll see you soon.